Alright, what's going on everyone? Zach Songs here, back with another Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. Last time we figured out everything we need to know to try and prove the real culprit of this case, and now we're going to get into the trial. Sorry, I'm just getting the chat set up because YouTube is stupid and won't let me... Oh my god. YouTube system is great, guys. Okay, cool. We're good. Am I ever going to stop ranting about YouTube? Not until they fix their stupid website. Okay, chair, go into the mic so they can hear me. Alright. Good morning, Max. Oh, yeah. Good morning, sweeties. You don't seem like your usual sparking self today. I'm always like this before I go in front of an audience. I'm working up to it. Tee. Don't get nervous, Maxie. Here, have a glass of milk. Regina! How fabulous! My sweetie pie princess! You came to watch my performance today? Of course I did. Mo told me that I should come and watch this. Mo said that? So, what kind of performance will you put on today? Let me guess, you'll fly at the end? It's not that kind of show. Isn't that right, my sweeties? Huh? I think my sweetie pie princess doesn't... Yeah, she didn't seem to realize what's going on. Or even where she is. Well, Max, it looks like it's time to raise the curtain. I'll see you later. Today I'm just a member of the audience. Fabulous. Enjoy yourself out there. Good luck, Max. You're the best. Regina's different, don't you think, Nick? Top of the morning to ya. Everybody, let's get ready to get stuck in legal limbo. How low can you go? Mo. Top of the morning to you, governor. Top of the morning. That's the ticket. Attack of the day starts with energy in the morning. Early bird gets the worm, but then again, worms lack higher brain function. Here, Max, I brought you a present. Have some milk. Oh my, thank you. So, how are you today, right? Well, I got the feeling that today I'm gonna face off against the real criminal. You mean Acro? Huh? You think he did it? Be careful. He's used to putting his life on the line. Literally. He's got guts to spare. If all I've got to worry about is how thin the tightrope is, I'm used to it already. It just means that I won't be able to press him like I can other witnesses. What are you gonna do then, Nick? I guess today we'll just have to do without our usual psychological warfare. Today, we rely on evidence. It's the only way we'll get past Acro and to the truth. You're right, but it's gonna be tough. Anyway, I want you to make sure that Regina sees it all today. It's important. Then she'll finally have to deal with the reality of what happened to her father. You want us to make sure Regina watches? Yes. That's why I brought her to court today. What's that supposed to mean? She needs to know that when people die, they don't just become stars. I may be an old-fashioned clown, but I don't believe in people becoming stars. Why? There's nothing harmful in believing something like that. It helps people cope, you know? The court is now in session in the trial of Maximilian Galactica. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Very well, Miss Von Karma, you may proceed with your case. The prosecution would like to revise its previous theory of events. What's the meaning of this? We have discovered a new witness, or shall I say, a new eyewitness. One that saw Maximilian Galactica fly off from the scene of the crime. Order! Order! I had a feeling something like this would come up. Due to this revision, we are now prepared to explain how the defendant flew that night, an explanation the prosecution will present if the need so arises. In fact, my detective stayed up all night creating a mock-up of the scene on my orders. Poor Gumshoe. Very well, please call your witness to the stand. Time to get to work, or shall I say, time to walk the courtroom tightrope. Yeah, seriously. What up? I'm more of like a subdued Kaido. That's the voice I'm giving it. Name and occupation? Ken Dingley, but everyone calls me Acro. I'm employed as an acrobat at the Big Berry Circus. Where were you the night of the crime? I was in my room that night. If you look at the map, you will see the witness's room in the crime scene. My room is on the 3rd floor. The crime scene is below my window.
The night of the crime, the witness saw something quite shocking. Would you tell us what you witnessed?
Okay. That's it? Okay. Cool. Yeah, let's go. It was just after 10 p.m. and I was resting in my bed. Around that time, I heard a large thump noise from outside the window. Then, a few moments later, I saw someone flying right by my window. He was Max Galactica. I only saw him from behind, but that's who it looked like. To be honest, when I saw that, I thought I was dreaming. My door keeps shaking. It's weird. But it's windy outside, so that's why. This witness's testimony matches up exactly with that of the clown.
If that's the case, then there's very little the prosecution need add. All that's left is to explain how the defendant disappeared into the sky that night.
Before we get that far, I'd like to cross-examine the witness.
A foolish choice by a foolish fool who wishes to feel the foolish sadness of a sad fool. A man must know the proper timing for things, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Just like your old friend, Mr. Miles Edgeworth did.
Mr. Wright, do you have a problem with the witness's testimony? In the words of Miss Von Karma, may I quote yesterday's proceedings? There's no way that actually happened. Very well, you may proceed with the cross-examination. I'm just gonna... My phone just rang and I don't know if that was... really matter. Okay, there we go. Don't mind my dog barking. Wait, what was the 4th statement? I remember, so I got the walkthrough page ready, and then, I remember it saying, like, the 4th statement, you need to hit that first. My dog will not be quiet, wow. The light in your room was turned off then, right? That's true, I was going to bed after all. So with the lights off, you were still able to clearly see a human fly by your window? My dog won't stop barking, so I'm just gonna make sure nothing's going wrong. One sec. Okay. Well, that's good. Safety lights lit things up enough for me to see, but honestly, there was only enough light for me to see the silhouette outside my window. It was the person's back, so I couldn't see the white roses on the front. Did you see any of the other symbols? I clearly saw the silk hat, as well as the cloak wrapped around his body. I'm convinced that the person I saw was Max Galactica. The more I press him, the less results I seem to get. Maybe there was something fishy with this latest bit of his testimony. Sure, there's a contradiction, why not? There's a huge contradiction in the testimony that was just given. God, what is wrong with my dog?
There's a contradiction, then prove it with evidence.
Right, let's see some evidence. Do you have any evidence to support your claim of a contradiction?
Ha 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 ha, of course I do. I mean, like, obviously, I'm definitely not saving in slot 4. Do I have a contradiction?
It was,
silk hat. I don't know. Actually, wait. I saved, right? So I'm gonna save slot 5. Actually, I changed my mind, so I hit 5. I'm gonna check and make sure I don't fail this terribly. Yes, I knew it was this.
You claim to have seen the exact same thing Mo saw that night. Do you stand by that?
What do you mean?
The silk hat.
What about the silk hat? I saw it on Max's head as he flew by my window.
Well, you should have tried looking down out of your window that night.
That would have been quite difficult considering the state I'm in. Just looking outside of the window was a tough enough challenge for me.
That's a shame, because you would have noticed the silk hat found on the scene.
That's the ringmaster's hat, right?
Afraid not. No matter how you look at it, this is Max's silk hat.
Where are you going with this, Mr. Wright? Are you saying that Max has 2 silk hats?
No, this is a handmade, one-of-a-kind model made only for Maximilian Galactica. Which means, Acro, that you've been fibbing on the stand.
Order! Order!
Like always, someone has to open their mouth before thinking. You okay, Nick? Well, I opened my big mouth, and now I have to back it up.
How about it, Mr. Wright? What would cause this witness to commit perjury in this court today?
It burned against match. Acro is the real culprit.
Is there a right answer? Okay, it's the one I thought.
This is one. Your Honor, on this occasion, the defense accuses Acro himself. On this occasion?
Accuses Acro? What in the world are you accusing him of?
Obviously, we accuse him of the murder for Mr. Russell Berry.
Sorry, I wasn't reading it correctly. Mr. Wright, are you serious?
Deadly serious, Your Honor. I think your trips to the circus have served you well. You seem to remember how to try and grab an audience's hearts and mind. Your Honor, don't allow yourself to be swayed by theatrics. Trying to wow the crowd with smoke and mirrors is the oldest bluff in the book.
Really?
If you don't believe me, just look at the witness. He's calm enough for it to almost be scary. He is staying rather calm and collected.
Mr. Dingling, do you have any response to the defense's accusation?
I don't really need to say a thing, do I?
What do you mean? Everyone, take a good look at me. I can't even stand up by myself, let alone leave the lodging house. That's true. I understand that Mr. Wright is just trying to help his client. But to do this by accusing me of a murder of all things.
See, even a sliver of common sense makes it clear the accusation is ludicrous.
She's right, way to become the disabled, you heartless, cruel man.
Who said that? See that, Mr. Phoenix Wright? If you're trying to drum up support from the peanut gallery, that's how you do it. I think that's enough of this little game. I've got a doctor's note to confirm that Acro is unable to stand under his own power. Maybe the defense is planning on making a claim to counter this as well. I can hear the defense now. Acro had an accomplice.
What do you say about this, Mr. Wright? Did Acro have an accomplice?
Of course he did. Of course he did. It was Mo. No.
Slot 4?
Of course he didn't. Yeah, that's the only logical conclusion. Now then, this must be when we get to hear the name of the mystery
Oh, did I hit the wrong one?
Not this time, Von Karma. What? Nah, fam. You're not going to sucker me into this one.
What are you blabbering about, Mr. Wright?
There was no accomplice. Acro planned and committed this murder all by himself.
Order! Order! What are you getting at?
Way to keep them on their toes, Nick. Now I'm gonna have to prove how it all fits together. I have to show how Acro murdered Russell Berry. Can you do it, Nick? Can you really do that? I know what I can't do. I can't stop now. If I stop attacking, then I'm doomed. Alright, then let's do it. Mr. Phoenix, right? If this witness is the killer, then his eyewitness account is all lies, right?
Mr. Wright, I'd like you to clear something up for me. When the crime was committed, where exactly was Mr. Dingley? I mean, this is obvious, but I'm gonna save anyways because, you know, he was on his.
Duh. He was obviously here the entire time.
That's Acro's room?
Pretty simple, eh? Acro wasn't able to leave the lodging house by himself. There's only one answer to that. Acro didn't leave his room to kill the ringmaster. What? Are you nuts?
What say you, Mr. Dingling?
It's an interesting theory. That's it? Considering that what you proposed is impossible, yes, that's it.
Mr. Wright?
Yes, Your Honor?
As the witness has stated, your assertion is impossible, as he is in a wheelchair. There is no way he could go to the scene or be the killer.
You've got a point. It seems you've forgotten once again, Mr. Phoenix Wright. The defendant was clearly spotted at the scene of the crime. That's true. Mo said that he saw Max, didn't he? But Maya, it's still impossible for humans to fly. Do you mind if I ask a question, Mr. Wright? What is it? I understand some of your logic. However, how do you think that I killed him? If I can't leave my room, I obviously couldn't wear Max's costume. How did he do it? That's the next course of this legal buffet. Careful, Nick. Do you mess up here? She's right. I can't mess up here. I've got to give this one some serious thought. I'm sure that Acro killed the ringmaster. And he killed the ringmaster while he was in his room. No doubt about it.
Trying to enlighten us as to how Mr. Dingling committed the crime, Mr. Wright. Okay, I usually don't check for stuff like this. Okay, we do have a thing.
I'm gonna present some evidence.
So what did Mr. Dingling use to commit the crime of the murder against Russell Berry?
I am not going to look at the guide for this, because I want to figure it out myself. We will do slot 4 this time. Let's try. I would say the box. The box is the best theory I have. I mean, there's nothing else, right? Unless he somehow, like, pushed him out of the window? That wouldn't make a whole lot of sense, but, you know, knowing this game, it's probably something crazy like that. So I guess let's try. I'm gonna try either the wooden box or a small seasoning bottle, and then I'll try the map, just to be like, what if you threw him out the window or something? Slot 4. How about this? Well, I think I should try again, especially before somebody gets the chance to say something. Yeah, you're probably right. So as I was saying, this piece of evidence...
Stop, wait, I say. Before we start over, you must be penalized.
Okay. Wasn't that one. No, do not load the game. Wait. Oh no. Well, I just saved over that, so we're gonna have to go back. Sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I hit save instead of load in case you're wondering what happened, so that's what I get. I probably should have just hit 4, but whatever. It's okay. We weren't that far ahead. I can't skip ahead with X either, so... Or, I mean, B! Because I definitely am using an actual DS.
Mr. Wright, yes, your honor is a witness to the state. Their assertion is impossible.
You got a point. Okay. But Maya, mind if I ask a question? I understand some of your logic, however, how do you think that I killed him? If I can't leave my room, I obviously couldn't wear Max's costume. How do you do it? That's the next course of this legal buffet. Careful, Nick. Can you mess up here? She's right. I can't mess up here. I gotta give this one some serious thought. I'm sure that Acro killed the ringmaster, and he killed the ringmaster while he was in his room. No doubt about it.
I do line us as to how Mr. Dingling committed the crime, Mr. Wright. Present evidence.
I'm gonna present some evidence.
So what Mr. Dingling used to commit the crime of the murder against Russell Barry, huh? Why don't you tell me that right now, huh? Say it to my face. Lose slot 2 and slot 4, so I don't do what I did the last time.
You know what? I'm gonna just try it. Circus map. Why not? Say he threw him out the window. Yeah, cool. It wasn't the right one, anyways. Or at least I don't think so. I think you should try again, especially before somebody actually says something about how garbage you are at this game, Zach. What about
The crime photo.
The small seasoning bottle. Cool. Not that one either. You know, I really don't know. How about the broken bottle? Leon. Oh. Wait. Did they drop this on top of him? That's the only other thing I can think of. What? Okay, that is not what I was expecting.
What's that, a picture?
It is indeed. The problem is with the item that's shown in the picture.
The bust?
Quite a large bust, and because it is life-sized, it's also very, very heavy.
Heavy? That was Von Karma. Heavy? Ah, I skipped that. Especially if it was dropped from a third-story window. Ba ba ba. Oh, he's looking serious now. He's like, hey, your theory is actually right. Stop.
See, this is how Acro was able to kill the ringmaster, with the force of gravity and Maximilian Galactica's ample bust.
Order! Order! So, saying that the bus fell onto the ringmaster?
A rather simple crime. Even if you were stuck in a wheelchair, it would be incredibly easy to commit.
How could you possibly wheel a wheelchair with something so heavy? It's impossible!
Well, Acro is an acrobat. He should have more than enough upper body strength to carry something like the bust.
Mr. Dingling, how do you respond to these charges?
Well,
Acro's at a loss for words.
He should be. He knows that I'm getting close to the truth. Well, 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 Acro. You can't run away from things this time. Ow!
I'd watch what I say if I were you, Mr. Phoenix Wright.
What?
Your Honor, the physical health of the witness is material to this case. I demand that we get proper testimony from the witness himself.
Testimony, you say?
Von Karma. She's just using this testimony as a ruse to stall for time.
Objection!
There's absolutely no need for such testimony.
The defense has its version of the murder. The prosecution has the right to respond.
The defense's objection is overruled.
Why can't he see things my way once in a while?
Mr. Dingling, I'm sorry, but we need you to testify about your physical condition. If you have any doubts about your ability to testify, we can request expert testimony.
The witness will have no problems. However, let's all be respectful towards him.
Thank you.
Ugh, that woman will sink to any low to win a case.
I suppose I could have lifted something the size of that bust. I have a strong upper body from working as an acrobat, and only my legs were injured. However, lifting the bust and looking out of the window would have been impossible. There's no way I could have exerted that kind of force on my lower body. That makes it impossible for me to have known the location of the ringmaster's head. Thus, it would be unrealistic for me to drop the bust on it, don't you think?
Possible, sorry. Not to mention they could have known the location of the ringmaster's head. A single false step would have led to even more severe injuries.
That's what I was thinking. What is your opinion on the matter, Mr. Wright?
I'd still like to proceed with my cross-examination.
He's simply stalling. It's shameful, really.
Ugh, I can't let her get to me. I've got to focus.
Okay, so I don't know the exact one for this, so I'm gonna just press for a bit, and then if that doesn't work, then there is something I want to try.
Hold it!
Have you ever lifted up the bus before? No, I've never actually lifted it up with my own 2 hands, but I should get to it, don't you think? I can't let money outdo me on this. Money? That crazy monkey has lifted Max's bus before? Please continue with the testimony, Mr. Dingling. Money, more than an acrobat.
So what have you been doing to keep in shape?
Well, honestly, I've given up on training. I don't have any plans to return to the trapeze or tightrope.
You don't say.
But, no offense, I'm not worried about losing to you in a race or anything.
Neither am I, Mr. Phoenix Wright. I wouldn't lose either, Slowpoke. I mean, Nick. Whoa, 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 how did this discussion turn to me all of a sudden?
Suppose that you could say I'm stronger than the average bear. Whatever, looking out the window would have been possible.
And why is that?
Because if I were to do that, I'd end up falling out the window myself. I haven't gotten much feeling back in my legs yet. So you couldn't have thrown the bus out the window?
There's no way I could have exerted that kind of force on my lower body. How long do you think your recovery will take?
You have to remember that the nerves were severed. I'm currently undergoing some extremely intensive rehabilitation, but it's still going to take a while before I'm back to 100%.
I remind you of another very important point. If the witness was carrying the bust, he would not be able to see out below the window. What do you say it would be impossible?
Allow me to explain. You accept that if I was carrying the bust, I couldn't see out the window? Thus, there was no way I would know the location of the ringmaster's head.
Well, I suppose you've got a point. Hey, Nick?
Huh?
What if you turn things around? Maybe think of it sort of like this. If he knew the location of the ringmaster's head, then he could drop the bust.
That does make sense. If only I could prove so— okay, I know what it is. Cool.
That Acro knew the location of the ringmaster's head without looking down.
I know what it is. I know what it is! I think I had to press him for that. I think I've already explained things sufficiently. I'm gonna save still so I don't die. So we'll do slot 4. I think it's the note, right? Because well, or not. It's cool. Okay, I don't know anymore.
If all you had to do was drop it, then wouldn't it have been a problem? Then it wouldn't have been a problem at all.
If all I had to do was drop it, you're right, I could have done that. However, there's no way I could have scored a direct hit on the ringmaster's head. So that kind of makes your theory a bit pointless, doesn't it, Mr. Wright?
Acro is strong enough to lift up the bust. The main problem is how he could have aimed for the ringmaster's head. What if you used some kind of tool to aim for the ringmaster? That's the ticket, Nick. Show them what you've got. I have to be careful. I have to find something that fits perfectly with the case. I don't remember us finding any sort of tool. Did maybe we overlook something?
Oh. No, I don't think this will work, but okay, I didn't think so, but I was like, yeah, may as well try him, alright? Slot 4. Small seasoning bottle. I really don't know. I'm just trying random things at this point. Money. Okay, I was like, maybe you got this monkey to do something. Oh, wait, that's not what I wanted. That makes it impossible for me to know what to do. The wooden box. What? Oh, okay, that was right.
Acro, you didn't really need to lean out of the window, did you?
What are you driving at, Mr. Wright?
You already knew ahead of time where the ringmaster's head was going to be. Quite precisely, I may add. Your silly hinting at things is pointless, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Enough stalling. How about you show us some evidence?
But I did such a good job hinting. Yes. Hurry up and explain things, Mr. Wright.
Maybe you should take a look at this.
It's the first photo, right? Yeah.
The key point here is the wooden box.
The same wooden box that the victim was found hunched over?
The same. Question is, who placed the wooden box here?
Who?
When Ben and company saw the ringmaster, they didn't see him holding the box, which means that this wooden box was already placed at the scene of the crime.
I have to admit that your theory makes a lot of sense.
The moment that the bus came falling down was exactly the same moment that the ringmaster lifted up this wooden box. Which means that the answer to all these questions is now crystal clear.
You mean...
If the bus were to fall upon the point marked out by the wooden box,
there would be no way they could miss the head of the victim.
Really?
Order! This is unbelievable.
Finally, some of these loose ends are starting to tie themselves up. Now I just gotta keep going. There's only one way to go from here. Forward.
Recess!
And I was like, God dang it, Judge.
So the next question I have is, who placed the wooden box at the scene?
It was Mr. Dingling, of course. He connected it to a rope, and all he had to do was lower it down. Ow!
Allow me to whip some sense into you. Mr. Phoenix Wright.
The ringmaster's head could have been anywhere when he lifted the box. That's why the box was so specially made.
Specially made?
Indeed. It had the most peculiar feature. The size of the box, the weight of the box.
It has to be the contents of the box, right? Or maybe they're all right. We'll do slot 5.
You recall what was inside the wooden box?
There was only a small bottle of pepper, wasn't there?
Get on with it.
Well, what's the matter? Cat got your tongue?
Oh, god dang it. I don't see any relationship between the location of his head and the box's contents.
Think I might have outthought myself.
Oh wait. Well, let's keep going.
No, Nick, you didn't think enough.
Mr. Wright, do you still maintain the box had some sort of special feature? Oh. The size of the box. The weight of the box.
The box has a remarkable weight.
Weight?
According to the court record, it weighs 20 pounds.
Just to lift up this wooden box would have required.
Oh, I see. One would have to squat down, then lift it up with their body, wouldn't you say?
That's exactly what I was trying to point out. The box is also very large.
The box also has carrying handles on either side, doesn't it?
That is correct. To lift up the box, you'd have to squat down. Which means that no matter who you are, your head would be in approximately the same place.
Fool.
Well. Guess you got me.
He just gives himself up. It's like, does she even bother to listen to me anymore?
I think that was supposed to say he. Like, otherwise I have no idea what he's trying to do. I've heard what you've had to say. I must admit, I'm shocked at your imaginative skills. Did you drop it? Did you drop the bust on the ringmaster? What are you talking about? Even if I had wanted to do such a thing, I couldn't.
What?
Mr. Wright, do you recall the original location of this bust? It was the cafeteria, I think, right?
Of course I remember. It was on top of the table in the cafeteria, yeah.
Now what happened to it? I'd like you to remember one important fact, Mr. Wright.
I could not possibly leave the lodging house by myself.
Huh, that means...
You understand what I mean, don't you? I may very well have been able to drop the bus from my room. However, how would I have gotten the bus from the cafeteria to my room?
You see, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Explain that. Don't forget, you said there was no accomplice.
Ugh! Why did I say that?
Tell exactly how the witness would have carried the bus from the cafeteria.
Yep, we definitely have a problem here. But this is no place to get perplexed. I've got to get my wits about me and prove how things happen once and for all.
Alright, Mr. Wright. Let's hear your explanation. How did the witness get the bus from the cafeteria back to his room?
The box. We'll do
use slot 4, I guess, because why not? Oh, it was money. A monkey?
Everyone knows Money. He loves shiny objects of any size.
For instance, he stole the ventriloquist's ring.
So, are you saying the Witness had a monkey steal the bust? Of course he didn't order the monkey to steal it. The monkey stole it on its own, and then brought it back home. Yes!
Home?
Money lives in Acro's room.
Acro's room?
The bust was bronze, wasn't it? Bronze isn't all that shiny. Maybe you should have put the whip down sometimes and read the court record.
Why? Those are some very nice cards he's holding.
Yes, and they're made of platinum, which is very shiny. Acro. Money is a strong monkey, right? It'd be easy for him to bring the bus back to your room.
If he wasn't able to handle that himself, I'd be on the market for a new roommate. Order! Order! I said order! Miss Von Karma, where is the bust in question at this moment?
I don't know. We're searching for it as we speak.
This is a strange turn of events. That monkey did not steal the bust. Then what happens to this case?
Well, in that event, something else must have been used as the murder weapon. Well, Or maybe this bust was the murder weapon, but it was used by accident. That's possible. Maybe Acro saw Money's mountain of stolen goods and thought to use one of them. Anyways, I think we've more than proven one critical fact. Namely, that it was entirely possible that Acro was the murderer. Moron!
Mr. Wright's argument was so circular, I'm a bit dizzy. However, his argument does hold water. There's no denying that.
Ow! Don't seem so flamboozled, especially by this fraud of an attorney. Fraud? You've forgotten the absolute most important thing, Mr. Phoenix Wright. And what is that? You should know. You forgot that your fraud of a magical client was spotted at the scene of the crime. Ah, okay, I might have forgotten that. There was no reason to doubt the clown's testimony.
But that's true. How do you respond to that, Mr. Wright?
Nick, don't let her beat you now. I won't. This is my chance to turn this trial around. When the murder occurred, there were two people at the scene of the crime. One was the victim, Russell Berry, and the other was the murderer himself. Answer this and only this, Mr. Phoenix Wright. The clown saw the murderer. Who was it then?
Slot 5.
It was Bat. Bum bum.
I don't know.
I don't know at all. It was... Oh... Wait a second. No, he said he was in his room. Okay. I was gonna be like, is it actually him? And he just, like, he didn't do anything? That would be crazy. Watch it actually be Bat. I don't know. I'm gonna check the guide so I don't mess this up. Okay. Let's see. Tell me, game. Physical state, blah, blah, blah. Oh, okay. I wanted to go with this, but I didn't know if it was right or not.
What is this supposed to mean?
Yes, what is that supposed to mean? Do you mind explaining that to me as well? Getting barraged with questions, Nick. Why is that? Because you're on the wrong track. Oh, wait, did I not look at the right thing? Oh, well, crap. I forget what I saved that to. Was it slot 5? Yeah, it was. Okay. That would have been bad if I was like, I don't remember what slot it was to. Wait, where is it? The way to the box. I remember. Money the Monkey. What? Oh, that's clever. Where is it? Wow. He saw Max's Ow!
I asked who was the other person Mo saw on the scene. That evidence has nothing to do with the question.
Au contraire, mon frere, it does indeed have something to do with the question. Mo said that he saw Max's silhouette, but he did not actually see the man himself. It wasn't a human being he saw.
How is that possible?
It's simple, really. What Mo actually saw that night was Max's bust.
What are you talking about? Have you tried using your brain at all in this case? The silhouette you saw just happened to be wearing a cloak.
There's no reason why you couldn't attach a cloak to the bust. Or a cloak like that could have easily snagged on the bust if they came into contact.
Idiot, who in their right mind would put a cloak on a bust?
Doesn't matter who put it on the bust.
Just wait a minute now, Mr. Wright. Who put the cloak on the bust? That question is of the utmost importance in this case, don't you agree?
Oh, he got me.
Let's have it, Mr. Wright. Who put the cloak on the bust? Okay, so I guess it's Russell Berry, because that's, you know, that's what I tried before and it didn't work. Slut for.
Fool! Him?
You are saying that it was the victim himself, Russell Berry?
That's what I'm saying.
The victim himself placed the cloak onto the bust?
Placed the cloak isn't really the right way of putting it.
Then what would be the right way of putting it, Mr. Wright?
Explain yourself.
Nick, do you really have a handle on all this?
I'm fine, Maya. I'm finally putting all the pieces together. There's really only one picture I can paint anyways. Alright, so you want to know what really happened that night? Let's step back in time.
Go back in time.
Acro used the rope to lower the wooden box onto the scene. Then he attached that rope to the bust, and dangled the bust out of his bedroom window, directly above the wooden box. At the same time, the ringmaster told Max to wait in his room, and went to the scene. Of course, at the time, the ringmaster was wearing Max's costume. Perhaps he didn't want anyone to recognize him that night. But just as he feared, he was spotted at the entrance of the lodging house, by none other than a ventriloquist and his puppet, Ben and Trillo. When the ringmaster arrived at the scene, he bent over to lift the wooden box. And that's when Acro took his chance and released the rope. Now this is when the magic happens. At the very instant the bust hit the victim, oh. Wow.
You just wait a second there, Mr. Phoenix Wright. As much as you try, as much as you scheme, this just isn't true. It can't be.
It's still a little early to be getting so upset, Miss Von Karma. This circus isn't over yet.
Huh?
With the shock of the impact, it threw up the cloak and got snagged on the bust. That's when the sound was heard by a witness and he took a look out of his window. That witness was, of course, Lawrence Mo Curls, the clown. When Mo looked out his window, the cloak had already been snagged on the bust. Now, having completed the crime, Acro naturally went about pulling up the murder weapon. Of course, he had no idea that Mo saw the bust being raised with a cloak dangling on it, primarily because, in his wheelchair, he couldn't see out his window, so he just kept pulling the bust up. But the hat fell off. It's all making sense now. And that is how the magical murder disappearing into the sky came to be. Now you know how the murder actually took place. And now you know who was able to drop the murder weapon from above the scene. Acro, it could have only been you.
Acro's been playing mind games with all of us.
He sure has. But he has come to the end of his rope now.
So?
What now?
You've graced us with a rather long-winded tale. But do you have any evidence to prove that your fairy tale is true?
Evidence?
In this court, only two things matter. The power of evidence and the power of my whip.
Don't forget the power of my gavel as well. Mr. Wright, the prosecution brings up a good point. Can we see some evidence?
They say they want evidence.
I just explained how there can only be one possible murder method. There's still something unusual about Mo's eyewitness account. Unusual? A contradiction, actually. Okay then, use that and get us out of this jam.
That's enough talking amongst yourselves. Proceed, Mr. Wright. Present some evidence to the court that backs your claim. I want hard proof that you have unraveled the trick to this magic case.
Slot 5.
The note. That's the only thing I can think of. Nope.
Okay, that's nice. People complain when I skip these, though, so I assume.
Okay, try again.
If they would have been silent for 2 more seconds, I would have screamed. Just ah! Okay. That was the only thing I could think of, but the silk hat. The problem is Max's 3 symbols. You know, the silk hat, the cloak, and the white roses.
Those symbols were a problem numerous times during yesterday's proceedings.
Yesterday, there were 2 contradictions in Mo's testimony. The silk hat was one, the white roses were the other. But the theory I just presented explains all of these contradictions. You fool, do you ever shut up? Max's silk hat was found at the scene of the crime. However, remember what Mo said yesterday. He testified that the criminal he saw fleeing the scene was wearing a silk hat. There's only one explanation for that. The silk hat that Mo saw. Sorry about that. Silk hat that Mo saw was actually the bust.
Makes sense. If you look at it that way, then he did see the silk hat. Well, sort of.
Fine, you've got one, but what about the other contradiction?
The other contradiction?
Remember what that ventriloquist said in court? He said that he witnessed white roses on Max's chest that night. The clown's testimony doesn't match. The clown said that there were no white roses. I'd like to see you try and explain that one away. Can you do it, Nick? Yeah, but it's gonna take another hour. Of course, I can explain all of it. What was that? Please recall the incident when the cloak snagged onto the bust. The cloak snagged onto the bust. What happened to the white roses?
They fell off?
You get it yet? If the cloak snagged onto the front of the bust, it means the white roses would end up on the back of the bust. Oh, which explains why Mo didn't see it. The white roses were not visible because they were on the back side of the bust.
Bum, bum, bum. Order! Order! This is quite the shocking state of affairs. Mr. Wright's theory still sounds a bit absurd to me. However, let's just keep going down this road for a while and see where it leads.
Let's do this, Nick. Then maybe Von Karma will finally throw in the towel. Oh, come on. Well, so much for that theory.
Mr. Wright, do you mind?
What is it?
You took the time to research our circuits, didn't you?
Well, yes, I did. Is there something making you think I didn't?
Well, if you did, then maybe you'll understand why I think you're off track.
Why is that? Motive. This witness feels an incredible debt of gratitude towards the ringmaster. Anyone with any relation to the circus is well aware of this. Thus, there's absolutely no way someone like this would kill the ringmaster.
Yeah, but I know. He was trying to kill Regina, wasn't he? He was trying to kill Regina because Regina let Leon bite his brother, and he was gonna get revenge. I mean, it's pretty obvious.
just saying, you know. Your Honor, I'd like you to hear Acro's story. Learn about his relationship with the ringmaster and his life up until now. What do we do? There's no doubting that Acro deeply respected the ringmaster. Acro's motive.
Well, seems that this case isn't over yet. Very well. However, I feel this is a good place to take a break. I'll listen to the rest of Mr. Dingling's testimony after recess. This court will now take a 10-minute recess.
Oh, God.
That was intense. A lot of things I didn't know, but there's also a lot of things I do know and we're not talking about. It's like, why? Huh. Anyways, guys, we're going to end the stream off here for now. If you have enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe, all that stuff. So you're going to see more of this awesome games, as well as Yakuza Kiwami, which the next episode of that will be tomorrow, and the next episode of this will be on Thursday, where we wrap up this case once and for all, and get into the last case, which is exciting, because there's no way Edgeworth is not going to show up in this game. He's on the cover of the game. So if he doesn't show up in Chapter 4, I'm going to be mad, and I'm putting him in the thumbnail. I don't care. I swear I don't have any spoilers for it, but I'm putting Edgeworth in the thumbnail because I'm running out of character to use in the thumbnail. And doing the beginning of the case's thumbnails is really hard because I have no idea what's going to happen. So I don't know. I don't have any characters to do it with. So I'm just like, well, I guess I'll put this person here. And it's not until after that there's like, here's your cast characters for this case. But, you know, I don't know that until I play the thing. So maybe I should just stop doing that. I don't know. Anyways, I'm rambling. I'll see you guys tomorrow with Yakuza Kiwami. Peace out.